Welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS mock exam, which is being taken place at Spot 1 Education Center in Jizak, and I will be your examiner for this part of the test. My name is Hamza Ifdastamkhon. Can you tell me your full name?
My full name is Fazliddin Giyosov.
Okay. So there are three parts, part 1, part 2, and part 3, and before each part I will give you some instructions, okay? So let's first talk about your hometown. So do you come from a city, town, or a village?
Yeah, I live in a small city called Jizak, which is located in a central part of Uzbekistan.
Okay. What do you like about your hometown?
It's a pretty small city in which there aren't a lot of people, and the city itself is not really crowded, and the atmosphere created in my city is quite peaceful, and you can really enjoy a peaceful life in my hometown because there are not a lot of cars that would cause a lot of noise.
Okay. So would you say it's a good place for young people?
Of course, it is a perfect place for young people to live because there are a lot of good schools in my hometown. But for those who are studying at university, this is not the best place because we don't have a lot of choices in terms of university. We only have 3 big universities in my hometown, which means that young people often choose to go to the capital city of Tashkent if they want to pursue further education.
Okay, so let's move on and talk about cooking. So do you enjoy cooking?
I wish I could say yes, but I really don't like cooking. I'm not a big fan of, preparing meals and doing, making dishes for people, or not, let alone myself.
Okay, so why?
It's a hard task, and it generally requires a lot of patience. I don't like, preparing the ingredients for the food and or serving the meal. Instead, I could just go to open the fridge and choose the thing that can be eaten without cooking.
Preparation, yeah. Okay. So what kind of food do you like to eat most?
I like to eat out in restaurants for traditional Uzbek meals, especially somsa, which is really common in my hometown.
Okay. So who usually does the cooking in your family?
It is my mom who's responsible for the cooking stuff, because she really has an eye for cooking, and the meals that she prepares, I would say, are out of this world, and she is really good at doing the cooking.
Okay. Are you planning to learn how to cook in the future?
No, I don't think it will be necessary for me, as I am a married man, and my wife in the future will hopefully do all the cooking stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't really that really eliminates the need for me to learn how to cook.
Okay, so let's move on and talk about gardening. So, do you have a garden or any plants at home?
We have a small backyard in my house, and there in the small backyard, my father grows different plants ranging from potatoes to tomatoes, and there are even some trees. My father does all the gardening stuff in my home, in our home.
Okay. Have you ever tried growing your own vegetables or flowers?
I did try to plant some tomatoes when I was a kid. It was about 10 years ago when my father told me to sow some tomato seedlings, and then Yeah, I really expected tomatoes to grow well, but yeah, they did grow well, but I could not reap the reward of my effort. They did not. I could not get the harvest from them, but really, I really loved the experience of growing and taking care of tomato plants.
Okay, so what do you think are the benefits of gardening?
Overall, yes.
Yes.
It's for nature, gardening is the taking care of nature, which means that people who do the gardening are careful about nature and they take care of what they are doing. And this is really important for the environment. For people themselves, this is they learn by gardening. They in the first place can produce their own food, and they learn a lot of other practical skills like patience and learning to take care of something. And this is why I think children also have to be taught gardening and planting or taking care of plants at school, because it really teaches them how to be responsible.
Okay, thank you. So this was the last question in our speaking part 1, and now let's move on to part 2. Now I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you will have 1 minute to think about what you are going to say. You can make some notes if you wish. Here's some paper and a pencil so to take some notes. And your topic is describe an important journey where there was a delay. Okay, so here's your topic and you have 1 minute to prepare.
Okay.
Okay, so now your time is up. Please start speaking now.
I like to go on day trips with my friends, and there was one case when we had to go on a small day trip, but it ended up as a little disaster with its own lessons. It was last year in summer when me and my friends decided to go to the mountainous region of Zomen in my home in my city. It's about 2-hour drive, so that we expected that there would not be any problem along on our way, and we hit the road, 4 of us, in one of my friend's car, and before going on this little journey, we made all the preparations. We bought things that would be necessary for us during our trip, and we really thought that we were completely ready for the whole trip, except for the fact that my friend forgot to fuel his car, and all of a sudden he said that the car was running out of gas, and we were right in the middle of our journey, and it was like a deserted area with no one else. But fortunately, my friend's car had some spare spare petrol for us. That would be enough for us to make it to the gas station. But when we did make to the gas station, we saw that there was a long queue, a line of cars, which would take us about 1 or 2 hours to get to the fueling point and get our car fueled. But and we had to wait for about 1.5 hours for us to for my friend to fuel the car, and then we had to go along the way, and we had to waste about that time of our trip.
Okay, thank you. So now your time is up. Can I please have the paper and the pencil back? Thank you. So, okay. Did the delay cause problems for other people?
Except for us, no. Except for 4 of us, but we did a lot of complaining to my friend. So this is your car; you have to be responsible for that. But it was no use.
Okay, thank you. So now, we've been talking about an important journey that you made where there was a delay. And now I'd like to discuss with you 1 or 2 more general questions related to this topic. Let's consider, first of all, travel in your country. So, how do people prefer to travel in your country?
It depends on how long the travel is. Well, for example, if it's a regular commute to work, people often take a public transport or drive their own cars or take a taxi. We have all the range of different modes of transport. For longer journeys lasting more than 5 hours or let's say 200 kilometers, people generally prefer to take trains or planes because they know that car journeys for this long range is really tiring, so they prefer to take planes or trains instead.
Okay, so what are the most common problems people have traveling in your country?
In urban areas, there are a lot of traffic jams, and traffic congestion is really a big problem because these urban hubs are usually very overcrowded, causing a lot of delays. And when people are making a a regular commute to their work, they have to face at least, let's say, 20 or 30 minute delay. For those who are traveling longer distances, the conditions of our roads are not very satisfactory. There are a lot of potholes on the roads, which really gives you a bumpy journey. So that your long journeys in my country would not really turn out to be as smooth as you would like them to be.
Okay, so how can transport in your country be improved?
The problems I mentioned above have to be solved in the first place. How can we solve these problems? For example, the problem with traffic jams. I guess the best way is to invest in public transport. If there is an integrated public transport which connect all parts of the city and which has frequent bus and train service, I think people would choose not to drive their cars but take the public transport, and this would potentially solve the problem in the long run. And people also suggest widening roads or laying putting another layer of asphalt to our roads to improve the road conditions, but that would cause more congestion on our roads. So investing in public transport, improving the public transport service in urban areas could potentially could really solve all of the problems relating to transport in my country.
Okay, so now let's talk about travel in the past, present, and future. So how do you think people how do you think traveling in the past was more comfortable than it is today?
We're more comfortable, right?
Yeah.
I don't see any comfort in traveling using animals like camels or camels or horses, but I think back when people yet had no cars, they had to store, or they had to have all their things packed, and they had to have good company for their journeys, and the company that they had, their friends maybe could make the journey more meaningful and enjoyable. Nowadays, people generally, in most cases, even for longer distances, people try to travel alone, which makes the whole journey very boring and monotonous. So that would be one source, but that doesn't really mean that travel in the past was a lot better than it is today.
Okay, so what kind of environmental problems are caused by modern ways of traveling?
All modes of transport, whether it is cars or traveling along the sea or the planes especially, add to the carbon footprint of people that is already high. So in my opinion, these modes of transport are the major contributors to air pollution, and this way they are causing a lot of environmental problems.
Okay, so what kind of changes can you expect to see in your lifetime to the way of traveling?
I can't expect to see flying cars, but I would definitely like to see the people being more responsible about the environment and taking public transport instead of driving cars, because there is this saying that the developed country is not where the poor can afford cars, but developed country is the place where rich take public transport instead of driving, and this could in the long run solve most of our problems related to environment. At the same time, the cars that are running on our roads have to convert to environmentally friendly ways of environmentally friendly sources of energy. We already have a lot of electric cars that don't consume gasoline or petrol, so that would also contribute to solving the problems relating to environment. But using public transport would be the best option, because by doing so they could simultaneously solve the issues relating to environment and traffic congestion.
Okay, so this was the last question in our speaking part 3 as well as in our speaking exam. Thank you.